Yo,
What up, though?
what's up, folks? Welcome everybody.
Intro, man.
welcome to goddamn, bro.
You can't get your shit together. Get your thoughts together, my nigga.
Hey, that was wild, man.
I thought they were gonna hit us with the okie doke. I just thought they was gonna hit us with the okie doke. Like they was gonna just go completely away from the story, like the book.
I think in some ways they did slightly, subtly, not enough to like make a huge difference overall. But I like they stuck with a lot of intricacies, and I mean we'll get into it here in a minute. But some of the tiniest details from the book, I like how they showed that shit in the show. What up, though? And not that's it.
What's up, y'all? I'm in my feelings. I'm in my feelings.
Man, that was a wild ending, dog.
Celestial, we not pleased.
No,
bruh.
Let me get my mother. Hold on, wait. Can we?
Nigga.
Can we drink? Can we put one up for Luke one time? Cause God,
man, man.
I know we gonna get to it, but
my
shit.
homie.
I mean, he could still be alive. It looked like he ate him whole. Like, I mean, he might still be in there.
Nigga, this ain't Jonah in the well.
He's coming back from that. I don't think he's coming back from that.
Golly.
Nigga, the dragon was in pieces. Nigga, what you think happened to the little boy?
That little boy dragon,
you know, Vhagar is humongous.
Down the gully, down the gully.
He turned that boy into dragon, boo boo.
Already, CJ. Goddamn.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sad, man. Look, he didn't even do nothing.
Hey, man. Vhagar.
He ain't have to hit him all in the head, but Vhagar wanted her motherfucking lick back.
Yeah.
Man.
But see,
Aemond play too goddamn. Aemond always playing, man. I'm sorry. I'm starting at the motherfucking end.
Yeah,
listen, y'all.
Bring it back.
Let's slow down.
There's a lot.
Everybody relax.
I'm sorry, man.
I know y'all hype, but goddamn it, we still got law and order around here. Everybody breathe. But nah, though, you right, man. Vhagar sent that strong ass nigga to his strong ass
dad. Shit, man. I ain't never seen a dragon get 8 in half before, my nigga.
We're not 5 minutes in, man. Y'all wild.
So listen,
man.
Put that dragon into that boy.
Like we always do. We gonna. Well, let me start off by introducing. We got us a special guest, man. He is a history-making guest, right? Mr. Joshua Simmons. He is the vice mayor for the city of Cold Springs down in Florida, and he was the first and only Black person to be elected as a county commissioner since the city became incorporated back in 1963. So,
God damn it, I drink to that.
Yeah,
drink to that.
Hey, I'm spraying it now on that one, man. Shit, libations.
Hey, it's an interesting time, man. You know what? I might not be mad if we bring swords back because the way some of these people be talking, man, they make you want to draw on them. I'm trying to tell you.
So listen. Since we got you here, Mr. Vice Mayor, you down to Florida, I know you know ordinances, you know different laws, but nigga, do you know them thrones?
Let's go.
No them thrones. All right. Question 1. Lord Beesbury accused the council of committing what? A, homicide, B, regicide, or C, treason?
Come on, man. My man's at 7 and 60 years old, man, said treason.
You're wrong, nigga. Answer the question. Question 2.
Treason.
Otto said the king left us a what? A, an heir, B, a problem, or C, a gift?
A gift, C.
All right. Question 3. Aunt Niecy asks Alicent if she ever imagined herself as what? A good mother, B, ruler of the realm, or C, on the Iron Throne?
C, on the Iron Throne.
No, damn thrones.
Wait.
Let me unmute my microphone real quick. My nigga.
Wait.
What was that last question again, dog?
Can you reread it? Can you reread that last one?
What did you say?
Can you reread the last question?
I said,
yo.
I said, Aunt Niecy asks Alicent.
Oh, I thought that what you had said, dog.
Yo, hey, that was the name I gave her in last week's write-up, my recap for the episode.
Oh my God, bro. Wow.
But listen,
that's a great question. Honestly, I've been asked a lot of questions. But that one is that was a great one. That was well worded.
It was regicide with Lord Beesbury. Regicide.
Can I argue?
No.
Because my man sitting closest to Alicent was like, who are you accusing us of, or who in here are you accusing of regicide? Beesbury stood up and went on his thing. He said, "This is treason."
He didn't accuse him of treason. He called them niggas treasonous, but he was accusing them of regicide.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, man.
Question.
You almost, 2/3.
Question. Who the fuck over there in the left corner with no camera?
Well,
can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out why it's not on.
We're gonna get your camera right.
What you doing over there? Who is that?
Listen, man, we international, man. We have a guest from Liberia.
Well, I'm not from Liberia. I was born in Liberia, but I'm not from Liberia.
Nah, hell nah. You from Liberia.
Right now. I'm in Minnesota right now. Cold as hell.
Oh, well, we're gonna go with Liberia.
Yeah, we gonna ride with Liberia. Damn Minnesota. Damn the mustard, Gina.
So, all right, CJ.
Yes, sir.
I want you to kick us off, man. I know you got a lot you want to get off your chest.
Man, look, bro. Hell of a season, hell of an episode, first and foremost, bro. And I guess we just kick the ballistics right where we started, man. I mean, Rhaenys, again, the episodes are in time now. Like it's literally happening in real time. We are experiencing everything in real time. And Rhaenys takes her ass to Dragonstone and said, "Bitch, let me tell you about what they doing over there in motherfucking King's Landing. Let me tell you about this fuck shit they doing over there at King's Landing."
Man.
And obviously, she kind of informs, not kind of, but actually informs Rhaenyra of her father's passing. It was obvious that it was impending at the time, but she informs him of the passing and everything. And so you see this, but you also see the tension where Daemon is like, how the fuck you get here?
Right.
If you know what I mean? And Rhaenys like, look, nigga, if you would just shut up and listen for a second, I'm gonna break it down for you. The episode was incredible, man. I'm still trying to catch my breath. And so I'm glad we had the little brief pause for Know Them Thrones, because my adrenaline is on 10 right now. But yeah, I'm ready to get into it, man. We can start right there at Dragonstone if y'all ready to get into it.
Yeah, look, like I like the reactions that you saw, like you said, from Daemon. You already got him jumping off like, wait a minute, why the fuck with you over here? They did some fuck shit and they let you make it. What's really cracking? Like you said, Auntie always got this cool, calm, relaxed ass smirk she be throwing at people, and I really fuck with Auntie for that shit, cause she like, bro, like, nigga, just chill with your bitch ass. Like, right, Rhaenys is a motherfucking G, cause she embodies so much shit without saying a lot. You know what I'm saying in that episode, but like to see the reaction coming from Rhaenyra, like, first of all, just hand clap for Emma D'Arcy, cause like the range of emotions she took me through in this entire episode, like she destroyed the role of Rhaenyra. She completely embodied everything that is like the Black Queen. Her reaction to hearing the news about Aegon taking the throne, that shit immediately, sending her to preterm labor, like that shit was, bro, she murdered that shit. Like she killed that shit.
Oh yeah, man. And like you brought up last week, dog. She she was definitely giving off that she fuck a black dude vibes all through.
Oh, uneasy already. You know.
Yeah.
You know she got mixed kids.
Yeah, you're right. But you know, I really did. I really like the fact that she ain't waste no time going to tell Ray, like, look, your daddy dead, but listen, bitch, that ain't the news. They took your job,
shit.
you know, they took your house, and they come to kill you and them strong ass kids. They come to kill the strong ones, the old ones, and the mixed ones.
Man.
All of them.
All of them. Get them children. Hide your wife, hide your kids, goddamn it.
Every time she said that shit too, like, hey, look, they stole your shit. I'm talking about Rhaenyra grabbing her stomach, like, God damn.
I'm talking about it's hitting her. You see it every time. It just hitting her every. Ooh, and then what, bitch? Ooh, and then who said the fuck? Ooh, that shit was taking her ass down.
That shit was hitting like moon tea, wasn't it? Like, I'm talking about, God damn, I'm talking about that shit was hitting. And so every time she told her that shit, it's like, okay, is that like she getting closer and closer to fucking obviously going into labor, and we discover that it's premature labor. Like, it's not even, and we know Rhaenyra's history and fears that come along with pregnancy anyway, and you know that obviously Aemond in the first episode, you know, died as a result of the impossible decision, and so all this shit is going through our minds right now in the midst of essentially war being declared on them.
Facts. I gotta get these ladies. Speaking of that pregnancy and her going through that, Aemond, Rhaenyra, I gotta get these ladies' take on that. Especially Celestia, I need you to dive in because you missed that sit tonight. What you got for me?
Okay, so back up. What am I talking about?
I really want you to let's get into right where we are. So with the pregnancy, Rhaenyra having to go through that, the stillborn birth, you know, just all of that. Like, what's your thoughts on all of that?
I thought she was a G. I mean, for one, they said very early on, I don't know if that was the maester or who that was that said, this is too early for her to be in labor. And they were, you know, scurrying around all trying to help her and begging her to allow them to help. And she basically was like, I got this. This is my 6th time at the rodeo. Like, I'm gonna figure this out on my own. And then to see her deliver the baby, it be dead, her go through the whole process of having to cremate the baby and deal with all this drama. She's a G. Like, and I mean, like most women, you know, let's take it back to slavery. We was out there in the fields dropping them in the field and still picking cotton. So
do you think her, you know, doing that, resisting the help from the midwives and her maidens and everything, was that because of what happened with her mother? You know, like that fear of not wanting to lay in that bed and let them control that situation, put hands on her, hold her. Like, let's be real. She know what happened with Aemond. You know what I'm saying? Like, she knows exactly what happened with that. So, like, did she kind of feel that? Did she, like, because, you know, she never laid down. She was like, fuck y'all. Stay the fuck over there. Don't touch me. I got it. Y'all think that was coming from a place of, like, hey, don't fucking do me like y'all did my mama, goddammit.
I think she's trying to be in control. Because, like, that's a crazy situation.
Facts.
So she was like, yeah, y'all not about to lie me down, cut me up, take this baby out.
As I said, did y'all see how she yelled at the maester? Like, she ran up on the maester. Like,
yeah.
This
shit is happening.
Like right up on him.
That, I mean, right now.
That's the thing about Rhaenyra though, is she gonna be who she is at all motherfucking times, and she didn't stop then. Like, yeah, y'all can come over here and help me if y'all want to, but fuck that, I'm gonna stand up and give birth to this baby. Yeah. And I will say, like, I think Valerian, the light-skinned dread, last week said something real poignant in that he said that Beesbury was the first casualty of this war. I would consider the loss of this baby at the beginning of this episode, if you want to call it the second casualty of this war.
Facts. That's facts.
The second casualty. And obviously, it started with her losing a child. This episode started with her losing a child. And I'm not going to fast forward to the end, but obviously we see that this episode came full circle, so we know smoke is really about to be real.
Right.
What up, Les?
I'll say this, and I want to let Leslie jump on this because I know Leslie will feel me on this comment from the book. One of Rhaenyra's first lines when she loses that baby is, my half brother stole my crown and they killed my daughter. You know, so basically she was already on some murder shit after that. Like you said, CJ, that was very much the second. Like even Rhaenyra considers that they killed her baby. You know, her going into that labor early. She considers this a murder on that side before we even get to the end of the episode. I want to let Leslie jump in on that.
But I mean, to the episodes, well, I guess to the Greens' credit, niggas be dying from childbirth and shit. Just like, I mean,
man,
it's just some ER shit, bro. Man. And like I was joking on one of my takeaways. I said that it's either like sometimes I feel like it's an episode of ER, like a Grey's Anatomy, bro. Like the way that it's like one childbirth per episode, and that shit is always so jarring to see that. And what y'all was just talking about Rhaenyra kind of waving off, you know, help from the maester and from the maids and stuff. That was kind of, you know, like this is her own battlefield, right? And they've talked about this time and time again throughout the show. That, you know, this is the woman's battlefield. And Rhaenyra's mother said that, and it comes up time and time again. And during that same, and while she's having a war internally, you see Daemon and them preparing for war, you know, on like literally downstairs. And I just think, man, it was definitely like like the imagery of this episode, man, was just outstanding. Just coming to the like the parallels.
Yeah,
I thought it was interesting that Daemon was not there with her. And you know, we've missed the births of the other children that he and Rhaenyra have. So
yeah.
But when you think back to his last wife and her having issues during childbirth,
right?
It was interesting to me that they show him with his aspirations for the throne, and they're talking about, you know, going to war while we can literally hear her screaming in pain in the background.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I don't think he was that far away because he peeked out the corner and saw the baby was dead, and it's like, all right, well.
Yeah, but that was after she had been laboring for quite some time.
But I think too, they had a moment where I think the maester or somebody came and kind of said something to Daemon and asked him, did he need to, you know, leave? And he kind of, the whole time, even when he was plotting, you know, his conquest, he was kind of still looking out to the side, listening for the screams. I think some of that was him and his concern for Rhaenyra, but then I think some of that too was, like you said, Celeste, he had been through that before with Lena. So I think a lot of that was, I think this is one of the first moments we see some fear from Daemon. I think Daemon was fearful. And that's just kind of what I think they kind of was trying to show us with that.
I agree with the fear. I even think that there was some grieving and some, you know, both past trauma and present trauma. Yeah. Like in the addition to the fact that literally they now know it's war is on. Like, so like all of this shit is happening, you know, while that's taking place. And so he's processing like shit. All the while what's going on with Rhaenyra right now, and she's having the baby right now. We have to prepare because we don't know how they coming. We don't know when they coming. We gotta look like we ready for it when they come. So even though we know we not, we gotta figure out who's willing to be on our side, who's not willing to be on our side. And so it's really a traumatic experience when you think about it for everybody involved, because Rhaenyra is having to process becoming queen, having the throne taken from her, all while having like this is the second time we've seen Rhaenyra, we've witnessed Rhaenyra have a baby and not even be able to actually, right, you know, like have the experience of being a human being while having a baby. But
right,
you know what I mean? Like she literally has to, as soon as it's done, get prepared for war. And the same is true, like for Daemon as a father, he's having to prepare for war even while she, while she's going through that tremendous and significant pain.
Not to mention, she didn't even Rhaenyra literally had zero time to grieve her father. It's like she had 0 seconds. Like Rhaenys went from, "Hey, your motherfucking daddy just died," to "They stole your motherfucking throne too, bitch. So you trying to ride or?" And it's just, excuse me, y'all. It's just interesting to see the dynamics of, again, like you said, CJ. We've seen her have a baby and literally have to go right to business, with the politics and shit with Alicent, as TK called her, and to see this moment now, like I said, she learns her father dies. She immediately goes into labor for learning these motherfuckers and stole the throne. Loses that child. Why? Like, all of this shit is happening in the scope of one episode. Like, that shit is, bro,
dramatic.
Man.
And the way they focus on the labor, shit, it's like,
it's intentional. It's intentional. It's gotta be. They like you said, like, this is what, third childbirth scene.
This is the third childbirth gone wrong.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Third childbirth gone wrong. And really, I guess 4 if you count the first childbirth shown with Rhaenyra, what CJ was just saying. I mean, like, just the traumatic effect of having to just go and meet the queen as soon as, and walk up them goddamn stairs. But man, but like, again, and Daemon was trying to be in this position of power and strength. But you're right, it was fear all over his face.
Yeah.
And it's like paranoia, because he's automatically like just thinking about every scenario in his head about like, oh, like, where could they come from? Where they attack? Like, in a lot of his actions, he doesn't understand consequences, right? And so I love the sort of back and forth that Rhaenyra and him had throughout the episode when Daemon was so ready to go to war, because he comes from a place of power, but not of absolute power. He's not the king. He never will be. And so his thought process, he doesn't think about the consequences of his actions.
Do you think? Well, I was going to say, but do you think that Daemon, he was incensed? Like, the minute they rolled up and they were like, Viserys is dead, it wasn't like he didn't see Viserys, a couple months ago, dying on his way up to the Iron Throne. He told them they killed him. Like, there was no way he could have just died.
Yeah.
Right? So,
which is kind of wild,
and that's classic Daemon. I think classic worst case scenario as Daemon.
Right, and so the minute she said that Viserys is dead, if you watch, he grabbed I forgot the name of the sword, but he grabbed it immediately, right? And so I think from that moment he was incensed, and you all have talked about how emotional he is, right? And so I think a little bit of what you're saying, but also I don't think it was necessarily fear. I think it was more or less him just being like, they killed my brother, they coming to kill us, let's go. Like, no restraint. We're finna go and burn everything down. We got dragons. Let's use them.
If you want to psychoanalyze Daemon a little bit, Daemon don't know how to handle emotion, so he act.
Right.
So as soon as emotion come up, he's like, okay, how can I fix this? It's not like, how can I process? I'm sad. I'm happy. Now it's like, let's do something to take care of this. And he's like, okay, my brother's dead. They're about to go and take the throne, or they took it. Now we're about to go fight. So he's not like, oh, I'm gonna be sad about it. It's like, what can I do? He's the action that takes. So he obviously, with the birthing scene, also he doesn't know how to help, so he's acting. He's just like, I can't help. So
that's exactly what I mean when I say.
Yeah, I was about to say that birthing scene is what we're talking about, the fear, right? That's it just had fear all over. He didn't want to deal with that shit again, because that is PTSD for him.
It's out of his control. It's a situation, like you said, that's completely out of his control. He can't go swing a fucking sword at it. He can't fuck it. So
damn, that's real.
I don't know.
I got another perspective though.
Go ahead.
I got another perspective. I also think there's just a twinge. If you paid attention to one, how he got the crown from the member of the watch, or the
brother.
How he took that crown. It was almost as if, how something is coming, and in your mind you think you're ready, but then when it happens, you can it was giving me a little bit of, this bitch she really queen now. Like, I really got to answer to my wife. Like, I think it's a little bit of
energy.
Yeah, it was two times I felt that when he got that crown in his hand and when he yoked her up around her neck, which I had a very serious problem with, and she did.
That was the obvious part. That was the obvious time where I feel like, you know, we had to question Daemon. I guess we'll get to that here in a minute, but I like that initial scene where Sir Eric comes with the crown at the funeral for little old baby girl that didn't make it. Sir Eric coming up with the crown, to me that was the most emotional part of the episode. Like her having to bury or burn her child, you know, was stillborn. Her still in that moment, probably taking a moment to grieve Viserys, her father, if she could even take a moment to fucking even think about that with everything else that was going on. And then Sir Eric coming up and bringing that crown. I think that was a big moment for Daemon and Rhaenyra. Celeste, I do agree. I think Daemon looked at that crown and there was some fuck, this is my brother's crown, and at one point this was gonna go to me type shit. And then I think immediately we kind of see the transition into this belongs to my wife, who now is my queen. And you know, we see him immediately pass the crown, place the crown on her head, bend the knee, pay homage. But I just, again, like Rhaenyra, Aemond D'Arcy, just her displaying the emotion as we going through that shit. Bro, she was really murdering that shit. I need y'all to feel me on these emotions.
Yeah,
she was taking me down through there. When they put that crown on her head, I was like, damn, bitch.
yeah,
for real. That's the same thing with me. I had that same feeling. You know, and you see the contrast between that coronation and the coronation of Aegon, first of his name, right? You see that loyalty to Rhaenyra, which
people
was
ready to die for her,
overwhelmingly emotional, right? And I think that when Eric came in, I mean, like, they set it up perfect, man, because it was this very low moment for her, and then with that crown, she's reminded of her true place in this world. And you felt that. And kudos to the actress, man. You're right. She took me through it too, boy.
She ate that shit, man.
I can't even lie.
I think it made her feel stronger a little bit. It's like I just lost my dad. That's a piece of him right here. Like thinking about that song of Ice and Fire. I feel like all of that is playing in her head. Like, you can do this. You got it.
Right.
So I want to touch on what Ophi Feet said about Daemon's actions, or Daemon's, he acts and that's how he responds. I think that is very factual, and that was obviously a significant point where in the midst of this chaos, they were trying to maintain their poise, maintain their standing. Rhaenyra is trying to still be the queen while having the baby in real time and telling Jace, "Hey, Jace, if something happened to me while I'm giving birth, you run this shit and you make sure you let Daemon know what I said, and to honor my wishes. Because if I let Daemon have this shit right now, then the shit gonna be ashes before the days end, right? So she's still trying to be a queen in this moment." She's saying that shit to Jace, and in that same moment, when Jace is trying to assert what she asked him, Daemon said, "Let me show you what real loyalty is.
Facts.
I'm finna take your ass out here." He called Caraxes up, and obviously he bring forth the knights and have them re-swear their oath to Queen Rhaenyra, and he allows Jace to see this part because I think he wants him to understand that you are at war now. Mm-hmm. So either these people who are swearing allegiance right now are your enemies, or they are your friends. And so in that moment, Daemon is doing what Daemon does, even as others are attempting to do what they do. And
that plays into his frustration with Viserys. Obviously he loved his brother. I don't think we've only had to question that maybe once in the first episode, but other than that, he was frustrated by Viserys because that one line he had, that was never his strong suit, being king, is that he always felt like Viserys was too diplomatic, right? Mm-hmm. Not oriented, right? And so I think he's having a lot of emotions himself, right? Like, he's just like, none of this would have happened if you'd have just left me air. Whatever, fine. Now Rhaenyra's heir, but no one's listening to me, and we wouldn't be in this mess if y'all would just listen to me. And You know, so I feel like that was him just trying to like stamp that out. Like he's like, enough of this. Let power. That's what we got. Like that's what we need to use.
Bitch,
Daemon
we got
got second son syndrome.
Yes. Yes.
Let me tell you what I liked about
you either
that
soft
scene.
like Luke or you crazy like Daemon.
That scene you was talking about, CJ, when Daemon, said, "Let me show you what real power is, loyalty is, or whatever." Like he was on some state property, get down and lay down shit.
Facts.
Like he showed up with corrections. He's like, "Look, bitch."
Hey, nigga don't even have to call his drag.
Yeah,
he just showed up.
Damon just get to talking shit to niggas. And
corrections
make
shows up.
He made that little squeaky ass noise, nigga.
So he was like,
that nigga get to crawling his little skinny leg ass around that.
This is the choice you got. You either gonna roll with us, or
you're gonna die,
or I'm gonna kill you. Now, if I kill you now because you don't want to roll with us, it'll be clean. But if you turn your back on us after you say you down with us, I'm gonna fuck you up real bad.
Real
bad.
The
choice is yours.
The choice is yours.
Hey,
that's some real shit.
Made them an offer they couldn't refuse, man.
I kicked some shit over in my house when that happened.
Yeah, he made them an offer they couldn't refuse. So I know we were talking about Eric bringing the crown forth, and that was significant. There was some subtleties in that moment as it played out. I ain't know if Auntie Nisa knees was just bad.
Right.
Auntie Nisa was just like, baby, I ain't been in no motherfucking knee.
I think Nisa was on some.
Who gonna tell me?
I'm your auntie. Goddamn it!
Who gonna tell me?
Bitch, I got your back, bitch. I came and told you about the shit, bitch.
She told her, but she was still tripping. So like, I feel like she had to. If it was me, I would have been like, "Wow," because she came and she said, "Oh, this and that," and then she said, "But I'm not here. That's not my ward. That's your ward." So it seemed like she's hating.
I noticed it, but I ain't look. I noticed Rhaenys didn't kneel. CJ, I didn't look too much into it though. I don't know if I'm just biased because I fuck with Rhaenys and I don't want no smoke between Rhaenyra and Rhaenys.
Yeah,
but I just kind of looked that shit over.
I'm telling you, she did it 2 times though. She did it 2 times.
She did it twice.
She
did it twice. But I mean, a part of it was her waiting to ultimately for her husband to decide about which about if they're going to claim their loyalties to Team Black. So I mean, she's a great wife on top of just being a great everything else.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I actually think.
So fuck y'all talking about it. Don't talk about every girl like that.
Hey, look,
but that even speaks to what Leslie just said. That speaks to her answer when Daemon was like, "Hey, why the fuck you ain't burn them niggas down when they stole the throne?" She was like, "There's a war coming." Yeah. But this ain't my motherfucking war.
I'm not about to be the person. Right.
I came here because my husband be slinging that wood at the house. So
I'm just here for him.
Listen, David said everything the whole world was saying from last week. Like, yo, right here, right
there. Man. They said they fucking up headboards and Driftmark, man. What you talking about?
Man. I feel like she keeps saying that, but like, all her grandkids are involved in that war, so she keeps saying it's not my war. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
That's facts. No, I didn't think she was hating.
Your grandkids a cupbearer. You know what though? And I love that subtle little move that Rhaenyra did when she invited over the kids, including the girls, like including the daughters, to come and have.
And you know, coming from Rhaenyra, that shit is genuine. That's not from a place of that's not from a place of manipulation, as it was
a great touch.
With
Alicent.
She is really on some, hey, y'all need to be in the fold of this shit. Y'all need to be learning. Y'all need to be understanding what's going on because there are no women of power in these positions. And y'all can be in the positions to take this shit over, but you got to start just this. That's the same way she started. Rhaenyra was a fucking cupbearer. She was a cupbearer for Viserys. That shit put her on. So she's putting Bela and Rhaena on the same way. That shit was dope.
Rhonda is where I am with it. I didn't think that. Let
me read that comment out, CJ. So we got Rhonda M commenting from YouTube. Thanks for coming. She said Rhaenys and Rhaenyra are equals. She is the queen who never was. Technically, that's Auntie's crown. She didn't need to bend the knee.
Yes,
I mean,
that's what I was trying. That's what I want to say.
I mean, it was Damon's crown too, right? It was Damon's crown too. So why he bend the knee?
Yeah, I was throwing the lob because that's what I wanted to hear right there. I felt like this was as much Rhaenys' moment as it was Rhaenyra's.
That's true.
And
if that was the case, you should have burned them bitches.
That's
but look,
bro. That's what I'm saying. If she wanted her fucking moment, burn them niggas. Done,
right.
bro.
I think we all team burn them motherfuckers now. I think we all team that now. But she decided the smoke wasn't gonna happen until
fucking audacity.
I
can't be talking about that girl like that. I can't be talking about that.
Wait. Comment. TK, read that. Please read that fucking comment.
So
no big
somebody wanted to backtrack to talking about Unc. Kendra Brown said, "I know Big Unc Corlys be breaking backs and pulling tracks and drift marks."
What's wrong with y'all?
Oh,
Big Dick Willie.
we kill him.
Big Dick Willie.
Y'all acting up in the comments early.
Hey,
I called that man Blondie Dread.
Rhaenys look like she don't like her lace front pulled though. I can't.
Shit.
Oh God.
Hey, Carly be riding the dragon, man. What you talking about?
Riding that white dragon.
Listen,
Real quick. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Celeste. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to take it back to something I said. I think it was the first episode that I was on in regards to Aunt Niecy. Is that I think it's just like I said in the beginning. There's a little piece of her that is rooting for Rhaenyra. Yeah. And if you pick, when she spoke to, I can't remember who she was talking to. She said, Rhaenyra the only one in here acting like she got some sense. The rest of y'all trying to burn the dog.
Yeah, she was talking to Corlys.
Trying to convince her.
Right. So I think she might feel away, but I think ultimately she is rooting for a woman to rein things in and to show them that a woman can rule. So might be a little bit of hate, but I don't think she wants her to fail.
Hey, that's a good comment. That's a good comment from Simone.
So they
got Simone Monique Barnes. She said, in a way, Rhaenys is also Queen Mother. She's as close to a parent as she's going to get. Plus, she's auntie and mother-in-law and cousin.
I mean, and let's also remember this. She still thinks that they had something to do with killing, like her son. So, I mean, there's always going to be that tension there between these two.
That's what I was saying too. Is like I think she tries to Rhaenys has separated Rhaenyra the person and Rhaenyra the heir, and the fact that she on the person side she really don't rock with her like that. But when it comes to being the heir apparent, she understands because she was better suited to be the ruler of the realm, right? She understands that Rhaenyra, you got to make those tough choices. Like you got to make those tough. I mean, you ain't have to burn my son. We could have worked something out. But you got to make tough choices. Right. When you the ruler or heir apparent. I feel like she rocks with that.
And then they share this womanhood, right? This mutual womanhood respect, and it's a very small club. What is that? Corlys had COVID. This thing like excellence. He said had COVID 05.
Hey, Rhaenys was twisting him up while he was in bed, man. She was
braiding his hair.
Yeah. And Valerian the White Skin, correct me if I'm wrong, but and I know with King Jacaerys, his wife sort of shared that same sort of women independent thinking. Of women having equity, equal rights.
The good queen, man. The good queen Alicent.
Yeah, the good queen Alicent. So,
not to be
there's
confused.
This minority of women in these in this story that share that same kind of passion for equity. And it's dope to see that kind of play out.
What I was talking about earlier with Rhaenys and the kids, like one thing that solidified that for me was that scene is she's a great person. You see, all her kids respect her. When she says stop, they stop. Yeah. She say go, they go. They just know how to toe the line. And you see Alicent kids out there, like she got serial killer, she got pedophile, she got
wilding the fuck out.
And that's all the time, yeah.
But one of you said earlier, though, a couple of weeks ago that, Alicent is a terrible mother. Like, she's not involved with them kids like that. Whereas Rhaenyra is, involved with her kids.
And
so you get both ends of the spectrum because Alicent's kids, Alicent's kids are psychopaths. And I feel like Rhaenyra's kids are soft. I feel like
in essence, we see Alicent using her children the same way Otto used her.
Yeah.
Otto used Alicent as a chess piece to further his position, to further his family's position. You see Alicent continuing those same things, right? And then you see the same thing from Rhaenyra. Viserys treated her as a daughter, as a child, as an equal. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you see that same thing coming from Rhaenyra down to all of her children.
Hey, CC Spring Thomas said in the comments, if she got a serial killer, a rapist, and a space cadet.
A fucking space cadet.
Hey, she really do. Hey, them motherfuckers all throw. And them the ones we done seen. And there's another one somewhere around that motherfucker.
The fourth one.
We ain't even seen that motherfucker.
That little nigga about the most normal one, though. So
yeah, I was about to say he's normal.
I mean, he wasn't raised by her, so that makes sense.
Well, yeah, exactly.
That little nigga good.
My man Aemond had the philosopher's stone.
Oh, you talking
his
about
eye.
Whatchamacallit.
So we found out that the sea snake survived at the stepstones, right? Like, so we find that out.
Yeah.
And that he not only that he survived, but he's on his way to
he went through Rosewood.
Right, to Dragon. He's on his way to Dragonstone, and look, the fire map was fucking fire. Like that shit was dope as hell.
That's dope. That's the fucking the painted table. So we've seen that, of course, in
season 8.
But it's dope to see them actually light that bitch up and put the fucking fire underneath. And that shit was stupid, though.
That's
what Aegon was doing, boy.
So they planning and plotting, and they trying to figure out if they're gonna be able to get the Baratheons, if they're gonna be able to get the Starks, and if they're gonna be able to get who else?
The Riverlands.
Yeah.
It's all kind of shit. Man, it's different places within the realm. Like I said, so you got the north, you have the Starks in the north. You got the Baratheons in the Stormlands. You got the Riverlands. You got the Westerlands. It's all these different castles, all these different lords and bannermen that swore oaths. These motherfuckers already swore oaths to Rhaenyra. You know what I'm saying? Like, as her being the heir. And now you seeing her have to go scramble and try to figure out, all right, you're going to remain loyal to this oath. You're going to be on that bullshit. Like, what's really happening? Like, so basically that's where we get it to this point at the table with Rhaenyra coming in.
I'm surprised by House Stark because they seem like solid, loyal family, and then.
But typically, you ain't gonna get no pushback from House Stark when it comes.
Yeah, I was about to say House Stark is gonna be pretty solid. Yeah.
Hey, let me just say this real quick. And this ain't got nothing to do with y'all talking about, but y'all talking about solid. I just want to take a quick moment to say how solid y'all are for following us and supporting us. And I was gonna start off, the episode with this, but niggas came in hot tonight, so it slipped my mind.
My bad.
Literally.
Sorry. Thanks to you guys. This previous week, we was notified by Spotify that this podcast was number 22 in the US for TV and film critics. So thank you all for the support, the likes, the shares, the follows.
Hell yeah.
And we just ask y'all to continue to rock with us, continue to support and follow, and leave 5-star reviews on whatever platform that y'all listen to. So
that Apple motherfucking no. Yeah, for sure.
Y'all appreciate it.
Hey, and while you at it, y'all can add HBO too. Tell them they need us.
Right?
They do.
Tell them
they need some real niggas.
Real niggas.
Yep. I mean, because it's all about, and it's all because of me.
David Ruffin
in the Temptation.
I wish I had the ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
Ain't nobody coming to see you. They got a neighborhood dog that bites children.
Yo, man,
I feel attacked because my ass always had the fucking dog that bit the children. I feel a little bit attacked.
Damn,
there you
man.
Go.
you had a dog in the neighborhood named King, man. Man,
couple of them motherfuckers.
Man, tell that light skinned nigga I said.
Right.
I see his dog is on fucking sight.
They got no Iris.
What you tell him to not obey you, but what is it? Serve you?
Serve.
Yeah. No Iris.
Serve me.
God damn, man.
All right, back to the regularly scheduled program. We was talking some good shit about the fact that they were strategizing and trying to figure out who they was gonna get allegiance from.
Yeah.
And obviously, Rhaenys and Corlys were having their conversation as Corlys' sick ass was coming to the room. And first thing he said when he opened his eyes was some slick shit. I can't remember what he said.
Yeah,
He said, "You
some
ain't gonna
slick
help
shit.
nobody."
And then said everything Rhaenyra touch burns or dies or some shit. She destroys everything she touches.
Yeah.
Hey, nigga came
Corlys got
downstairs on some
PTSD. It's
happy
okay.
shit though.
So
Hey.
so she had to get him right, right?
CJ. So at that scene right there, it was a lot going on with that scene for me, man. You know, Corlys woke up and he was like, you know, I fired niggas for falling asleep on the job, basically. And you know, he was like, good thing you ain't no nigga, and I hit that, so you good. But you know, she laid some real shit down on him, like she didn't waste no time, you know. And as soon as he opened his eyes, she was like, nigga, where have you been?
Nigga.
Like, you know, I'm going through all this shit and you left me to go play Pirates of the Caribbean. You know, like we lost the son, we lost the daughter, and you out there selling with these hoes.
A brother.
You
That's
know,
facts.
and then she was like, your brother died. And he at first he was mad, like damn, my brother died. Then she was like, well,
that nigga was tripping.
That nigga was fucking around and he found out.
She said that nigga should have been talking shit. He was like, you know what, that nigga do be talking shit. Like,
he do be talking that
Yo,
shit.
motherfucker
talking shit though. You right. I can see that. I can see that. Respect.
Right. He said, damn, my whole family be on that shit. Like, you know what I mean? That's our number one weakness is we be on that shit. I done got our kids killed, and my brother that got himself killed talking that shit. And so, you know. But then she put some shit on his mind about Rhaenyra basically keeping her head about her when all around her are losing theirs and blaming it on her. Mm-hmm. And so in that regard, you understand that she is now advocating. Like, even if she ain't doing it in front of everybody, she is behind closed doors. Mm-hmm. And she is with the person who, you know, makes the ultimate decision and who has, you know, the ability to control the seas. So this is a significant, you know, decision being made, especially with us understanding that they think Rhaenyra was killed at her hands.
She basically told that boy.
Yeah.
She basically told that boy if he wanted to get any more of that sugar cookie, he was gonna go down there and support that girl.
Yeah.
Look. After Jack Sparrow got back, right, and as soon as he opened his eyes, like you said, she read him.
She read him. Sparrow. He black.
Jerry Sparrow. My bad. Jerry Sparrow. She read him from filth. And then I think after he said our pursuit for the Iron Throne is ended, she laughed like, what? Our? Right. I think he realized, like, all right, I'm tripping. You know, my brother got his head cut off because, you know, he was talking that shit. And, you know, let me just go ahead and listen to Rhaenys. So Rhaenys was like, look, this is what we need to do. And I think that's when he understood, like, all right, I need to listen to Rhaenys. I'm tripping.
But I'm tripping. I do give Corlys credit because, you know, after she gave him the rundown, my boy sat there and thought about it. He was like, you know, Rhaenys, you right.
Yeah, you right.
Yeah, the average nigga would be like, all right. Just kept going.
I mean, he didn't have a choice because, you know, if you're not claiming a side, they're gonna kill you and pick your next heir, and then kill that person and pick the next one. So he didn't have much choice. He had to do it, or pick a side or something.
Corlys, even the way he announced his shit, his support was just like on some nigga shit. Like he is about him. Right, like he was like, and I have taken the stepstones again. It's like,
nigga. No, but the word play. It was the word play. He said, you know, my adventures in the stepstones have had some consequences.
Right.
We now own the stepstones. Like it was like,
nigga, we even got to that part yet, bro. Hey, you over here like just. I mean, and he was like, even before he lended his support, he was kind of testing her competence and where she was at mentally. But even then, like, it was like this big thing and drawn out process that he has to do before he ultimately says the shit that he's going to say anyway. But he does everything in such a nigga fashion that it's like, I really enjoy it, man.
It's his look how he enters every room. Look at every room every time. Corlys is walking into the room.
And you see him and you pay attention to him. You pay attention to every move, every word he says. You're kind of listening a little bit more because he's not a man of many ways. He doesn't have that many scenes, but when he comes on the screen, man, he pops out.
So what you're saying is when he walks in the room, he need his own theme music like Shaft.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, hell yeah. Like Dion, play my theme music.
I loved when when Corlys joined forces with him, you know what I mean? And he got his ego. That shit ain't going nowhere. Motherfucker was laying on his possible deathbed. That nigga ego still was intact. So I mean, the thing that I liked was when he looked at his black grandkids and then he looked at his white grandkids, and you know what I'm saying? He was like, shit, yeah, this is worth fighting for. You can see it.
I'll fight for this tainted ass legacy.
Right, I'll fight for this shit. You know what I'm saying? And now suddenly they got one of the greatest strategists, you know what I mean, on their side. And so now they got something that, I mean, Daemon, for all of the things that he is, was not a strategist, I don't think. He's very, very perceptive and, obviously good at war. But at the strategy part, I think it was good to have a Corlys on board. And then suddenly they started, saying, okay, we're going to take this, we're going to take this, we're going to take this.
And then too, even like him and his arrogance, the significance of him saying like, hey, we do own the narrow sea though. Like there's a lot of significance in that in the shape of like this war. Like they won't be able to bring any fleets to Dragonstone as far as conquering that shit, taking that shit, or threatening them. But one of the biggest things that Daemon did say was, yeah, we can protect this motherfucker, but we ain't really got too much of shit to take something else. But still, though, them having the narrow sea was a big piece of the war, because that basically chokes off any type of fleet action coming from the Greens.
But also, I wonder with the Greens, kind of what is their strategy? I know that I think they're trying to just box Rhaenyra out, right? They're not even really, and I'm not saying they don't have war plans, but I feel like their whole thing is like they're going to stick to the political intrigue of like just trying to like still get this Iron Throne. Whereas, you got them on Dragonstone, they like, hey, we going to war. Like, it's like, yeah, we'll go talk to a couple of folks, but we going to war. Like, that's where we at.
I think the Greens are trying to, like, the more allies they got, the less allies Rhaenyra has, and they think that's how they can win, which is stupid.
Right.
But they got dragons.
Overwhelming. Yeah, they're just trying to overwhelm them with the amount of manpower that they have. Hence the reason why that they're trying to gather as many bannermen as possible. And that's something that like Otto obviously conveyed to the blacks at Dragonstone. And I thought, like, and Otto, man, walks around in the army of the light, because that nigga just puts himself in fucking death for every other goddamn episode, bro. He'd have been up to Dragonstone twice,
and made it out of that bitch,
and still fucking breathing.
If I was Rhaenyra, I would have killed him the minute he pulled out that paper, because like that's blackmail, that's emotional blackmail, and that's his end game. He came in there with a paper like, "Oh, Alicent likes you." Okay,
right? He
did. As much as we hate Otto, man, that man got heart, because he really do just be rolling into places like
the army of light. That nigga's like fucking Harry Potter, man. That motherfucker got fucking.
How you be looking?
Otto was smart though. Otto was smart because he tried to prey on her feelings with that letter and remind her of her fingering and lingering.
But I think Otto did. I think Otto never understood Rhaenyra though. Like, I don't think he ever understood, like really who she is or how she is. I think he just wants to lean on what was going on with the him and his Rhaenyra and her old paramour Alicent. But I think he didn't understand that she really was committed to this. Like the minute she was named heir, and then her and her father had the exchange of the Song of Fire, of Ice and Fire, Fire and Ice. I think he never understood that, and so I think that was to his detriment. Coming there thinking he could pull on that.
I was rewatching the whole thing, and the first time he was the one who suggested she take the throne. Because I think he thought, like, I can control my daughter. She's a girl. She can be controlled.
Mm.
And all her moves since then, with the peaking of the night, and then shorting up the Dragonstone and getting the dragon back. Like, every time she did something rash, he looked at her and he was like, "Oh, no, I can't control her."
Yes.
So, like, I was watching and I was like, "Oh, okay."
I think even him choosing though, I think even Otto presenting his voice originally for Rhaenyra as heir, way back episode 1, 2, 3, whatever episode it was. Him presenting her as heir, to me, that wasn't nothing more than a manipulation tactic, because his plan all along after Aemond died was to get Alicent. So him knowing that, hey man, all my daughter has to do is bear him a male heir, and this shit is over with. So I think that was his end game all along. And so, like, you see these moments between last episode and even in this episode, him coming to Dragonstone. This motherfucker was basically barking orders at these niggas. Like, hey man, this nigga got the the conqueror's crown. He got the conqueror's sword, nigga. He got his name, nigga. We had us a time. It was a cold ass wedding, nigga.
Right.
And so, like, he barking this shit with all his confidence, because this motherfucker been plotting this shit literally for decades at this point. And it's like, for him, I think we see Otto feeling like this is the fruits of his fucking crooked ass labor.
Otto was the only one that was waiting for Viserys to die and wasn't surprised by it. He was like, "All right, cool, bet. All right, let's go with our plans." Like,
But on that same scene, we also had another full circle moment when Otto says, "We ain't come here to talk to you, Daemon. Where is Rhaenyra?"
Right.
She pulls up on the dragon. Behind them, once again, on his side of things, walks through them as if to say,
"I dare you,
bitch."
Right. And then my favorite moment, she snatches the hand emblem off of him.
Give me that shit.
Like she TI and AT. I mean,
the chain back. She took the chain back.
Get my chain back.
And tossed it over the bridge. Like, fuck your damn emblem. I don't give a damn.
Hey man, Daemon was about to start the whole war when he said your kids can be cupbearers and squires. That man was about to go, hey,
like, you got my kids fucked up. You know what I'm saying? You got to be my kids fucked up. But I thought it was a poignant scene, because obviously we were rewatching essentially the same scene from young Rhaenyra.
Yeah,
but it was obviously Queen Rhaenyra now,
with that motherfucking crown on her head,
right? With the crown on her head, and her and Daemon was standing on the same side, and there's obviously significance to that. In spite of what transpired after she said we're gonna take our time with making the decision, like they could have lit him up right there, and everybody knew it. Rhaenys knew it.
Even Cyrax wanted that smoke.
But she said, I don't want to rule ashes, essentially, is what she said. Like, look, when it goes down, and if it goes down that way, what is my responsibility?
Them niggas would have been ashes.
Okay, you know what? Question she asked though, right?
The more and more I fucking stay alive in this world, the more and more I realize that fucking Khaleesi was right. Sometimes
Thank you.
Burn some motherfuckers to the ground.
Just burn them.
Burn a nigga too.
Just burn them.
And he is the head of the fucking snake. And that is the head of the goddamn snake, Otto. If you take him out, I guarantee you the Greens will
end game.
And they're planning, and they're in from every logistical purposes, everything. Because then you'll have a nigga like fucking Aegon not listening to Alicent, and then Alicent. And then you have Aemond riding around with fucking Vhagar, who he clearly can't control. And so it's just like, it's all this shit, man. Like, I mean, I feel like that yes, that is true. You don't want to be the queen of the ashes, but these motherfuckers just got to burn, bro.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think too, that's another thing with Daemon, right? Because we don't really understand the kind of like the educated side of Daemon, right? But if you notice a couple of scenes throughout the season, he was reading books. He's always reading, right? Yeah. And so he has to be studying Aegon the Conqueror, right? Because that's what he wants to that's that true Targaryen power. And Aegon was not afraid to take his dragon to somebody castle and negotiate and talk about or burn it down. Like Aegon was going through folks. So I feel like that's what Daemon's like. It's like y'all forgetting, like, Y'all forgetting we got burned. We got to burn somebody. Like we got dragons.
I think the
Use
worst thing you
them.
can do in like this like kingdom is like second guess yourself, and Daemon don't second guess himself. So everybody else be trying to like. I get the emotional part, but like when you're trying to fight for a throne, there's no emotion in it. You just gotta do.
Yeah.
And that's why Luke and Jacaerys are soft. That's why they soft. I'm sorry, they are too soft for what's coming. I'm sorry.
They Viserys' grandkids. They might not be Corlys.
Half of them are Jacaerys' grandkids.
But they've been also studying to be keen and also like the head of Driftmark. So and so like while the other ones were preparing for war, especially Aemond, with the first time we met a grown up Jacaerys, he was what, trying to study High Valyrian. So he's a lot more studious, and and so was the other one. Goddamn Luke, rest in peace. But
pieces.
but they never stood a chance.
Literally pieces.
They moved out of Dragonstone. That was it as far as their training is concerned for the most part.
Yeah.
So let's touch on.
Can I wait before we move real quick? I just even going to that bridge scene, right? Can we just give a shout out for the cinematography?
Oh yeah,
for this episode.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
That shit.
Dude,
hey,
even the hues, like the colors they used, the placement, it was a lot of red, a lot of fire, a lot of like tint to it until we got to the last scene, which was completely separate, from the rest of that entire episode. It was almost like they put us in that last scene, like in its own episode in a way, kind of, right? Like,
so y'all got to show the cinematographers love, since y'all was shitting on them when they was in Driftmark. Y'all was on their ass in Driftmark.
Right.
So y'all got to show the motherfuckers some love for that.
Right.
But we kind of touched a little bit on Luke and Jason, their responsibilities, and the shit was all going so fast. I'm definitely gonna have to watch it again. But can y'all break down for me what the plan was starting to formulate when they were going to decide to send each person on their respective dragons to a different place to try to.
Yeah, it was just gathering allies. So like Rhaenyra said when she told Corlys, she wanted to see who the squad was, So the plan was Rhaenys was gonna dip down to the gullet. That's part of the narrow sea where she was gonna do some patrols, check out, see what's going on down there on Melees. And you got Jacaerys or Jace. He had the longer trip of the two boys, so his trip initially was to be the more dangerous trip. So his trip was to the Eyrie to secure the Vale, who basically are still, that's Rhaenyra's mother's people. Queen Aemond was from the Vale. All of Targaryen. She was Aemond Arryn. So basically, Jacaerys was going to secure that. And then his second trip was up to the north, which we know to see Kragan Stark, who was Lord of the North at the time. And in this time frame that we're in, they're around the same age. So Rhaenyra's plan was to send her older son on that longer trip, which was again thought to be the more treacherous or the more perilous trip. And Lucerys' trip to Storm's End, or Baratheon, that one was initially thought to be the safer trip. And of course, we see at the end it didn't turn out that way. But his trip was shorter. So Rhaenyra's thinking was that that would be the safer trip for him. And like I said, we just end up seeing at the end it didn't go that way.
And hindsight is 2020, right? But like, you kind of have to like, and I told you this earlier. I'm going through the audio book, but I'm not up to this point. I'm still like Corlys and Rhaenys just got married, but the Baratheons are always known as being like these tough, barrelly, like folks, right? Lords, right? Very tough, right? And I was thinking, I was like, why would you send Luke there? Like that boy afraid of his shadow.
I think it showed how out of touch Rhaenyra was with.
Good point.
She's saying like, oh, I need to see who my allies are, but I think she was really out of touch with a lot of those other people. These lands that you haven't been to, you haven't spoken to these people in years. Some of these places you've even already spurned as far as choosing your marriage partner. So I think Rhaenyra literally she overplayed her hand. And I think she just was out of touch with who her allies really were.
I think it's a great point.
I wanna read some of these comments really quickly from the audience. Antonia Esquire said, Rhaenyra's children are still more prepared. They may be soft, but they understand the game. The strong do not always make it to the end or the throne. And we
and the weak don't either.
Hey, wait, was that
the weak
pun
definitely
intended?
don't. Shit.
Was that pun
Oh no, it's
intended
a few puns up in here. Vanessa
Strong
Williams
boys
said,
are not soft; they are far from it.
and somebody,
I'm not saying they soft like, they can't make it they can't make it. I think they would be great rulers. I think they are much better rulers than what we got over there in King's Landing, because them folks over there are criminals. But what I'm saying is I feel like they be letting them boys punk them. That's all I'm saying. I go back to the Dynasty. All that was they was just being punked left
They're
or
soft for
right.
wartime. They're soft for wartime. They were strong for peacetime.
I think they're respectful. That's the problem, is you can't be respectful in that, because in that dinner scene you're talking about, they respected their granddad, they respected their mom, their own, and the other kids they didn't have respect for their mom, their dad, their sisters, their brothers. They didn't care about nobody.
Right.
That's the difference. Is
I think they kind of, they dealing with some older boys too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, those boys are a little older than
That's them niggas'
what I mean?
uncles. That's
Right. You know what I mean? Like, you dealing with a 19-year-old and an 18-year-old, and you 14 and 15 and 13 and some shit like that. You're gonna get chumped a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't strong enough yet, but when you get strong enough,
Lord Strong.
Right.
Lord Strong.
When your strong body show up, you know what I mean?
But when and this is all 2020 hindsight, but right, like Rhaenyra sending him to Storm's End, for one, it's always fucking storming the Storm's End.
Storm's fucking end.
And one of the reasons why and that castle has been destroyed numerous times. It actually didn't get fucking really fortified until, who was it? Brandon Stark helped them build that.
Yeah, Brandon and build us some shit.
They end up staying up, but so that's a little bit of a shorter journey, but treacherous in far as fucking, I guess, forecasting is concerned. But also, just what the Baratheon, like what the Lord Baratheon hinted to when he walked into the throne room, which was, well, man, like, you come in here with no gifts,
right?
No essence. You ain't got no, like, but you ain't got no women. You ain't got no weed. Like, what you doing, bro? like, what we doing? Like, Aemond came over there promising this and this and this. Like, what you got for me?
Right.
Like, but you ain't got no hookup. You ain't got no fucking tickets. Like, nothing.
I want to answer one of the comments. I think it was Nikki Norwood. She said that why would Rhaenyra send a boy? Yeah, why would she send a boy anyway? Luke is essentially a child. Well, so when we're seeing this scene, Luke is what, 14. 15? Early in the season, when we initially see the scene with Rhaenyra that we were just talking about on Dragonback of Cyrax, she was 14, 15 years old. Yeah. So the shit that she was sending basically Luke to do, that's what, like, her sending him as a messenger, that's the shit that she initially was doing herself at that same age. So I don't think she saw an issue with, sending him. I don't think she really overplayed her hand. She overplayed her hand. She didn't understand how the touch she was with the people that she thought were her allies.
Right. And I mean,
it wasn't a bad move though. It was because the cycle was there. Like,
it was bad time. It wasn't a bad move. It was bad timing. That was the worst possible fucking timing for that kid to get there.
Right. And the reality is, man, somebody might have to mute.
It's me.
Okay. The reality is that we knew that they were going to be somewhere campaigning as well, recruiting as well. And when you pull up to the set and you see this motherfucking big ass dragon sitting outside,
nigga out of left.
Motherfucker look like a whole mountain sitting over there in the rain.
Back, y'all. I'd have went back and told my mama, hey, we lost.
Right, like, look, them niggas already picked a side. You knew what side they was picking when the motherfucking dragon was sitting on 32s over there. God damn it. Like, man, you knew.
Vhagar sitting on big fucking Vhagar in that bitch
gigantic.
Right.
Like, that nigga is gigantic, boy. Vhagar, I mean, her ass has been eaten. But it, like, man, like, but you're right. I would have left. But also, you have to. I feel like that she still kind of put him in a bad. because like there had to have been some sort of like kind of quid pro quo to think that this pledging fealty to her 20 years ago or 15 years ago, however long ago it was, is just going to automatically do it. It's not the case, especially when you're competing when you're competing for their allyship, right? And so you know, like she has to be able to be a better politician in that regard, and that's one of the things that's been her kind of downfall. Her political machination, well, like her political as far as like building relationships, that is not a strong suit of her. And that kind of set up, I thought, you know, Luke at a disadvantage.
I mean, well, the thing is pulling up on a motherfucking dragon is typically a show of force. Unless a motherfucker pulls up on a bigger dragon. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally, hey, I'm coming here to get your allegiance. I'm pulling up on a dragon. You're probably gonna be like, yeah, we rocking with you. Right. But when another motherfucker is got a dragon that can literally eat your dragon, like, it's kind of not gonna work in the way that it's not gonna function in the way that it normally works. You know what I mean? And so
that shit like Luther Jerry curl, it just never really.
Oh, God damn it.
This nigga stay with Luther. We sorry, man.
Yeah, Luther, we sorry, brother.
A chair is still a chair. The throne is still a throne, baby.
If you hear me, man.
Even when there's no one sitting there. You know what I mean? But
I ain't got a Luther joke off in like 3 or 4 episodes. My bad,
bro. but listen though. So I mean, but some shit did happen when they got inside, and you know, obviously Lucas talking to Baratheon and trying to get his allegiance, and he for the first time really sees a side of Aemond that he doesn't know exists.
Wait, CJ, can I pause you? Can we dial it back before we get into the Storm's End scene? Because it's a couple joints I wanted to get into.
Okay,
before we jump to that. Can we dial it back for 2 seconds?
For sure.
We gotta touch on this scene, and I didn't particularly agree with this shit with Daemon. And like, okay, they have their quarrel, and Rhaenyra clears the room. Yeah, and the scene with Daemon, I gotta touch on that because that shit. Even like with what we've seen from Daemon with him being sporadic and just diving in head first to shit, we haven't seen him under any circumstances be like directly violent towards his family, like towards people that he really felt like he
towards Rhaenyra. Yeah.
What the fuck was up with the scene throwing and him? Like let's just say earlier, him and her ass up. Like what? Like was that because of Viserys told her about the Song of Ice and Fire, and he didn't tell. I took from that they were trying to portray that, but like still, that seemed kind of, even for Daemon, that seemed off.
I didn't understand it. I couldn't figure out why he was mad, or I don't know if he was mad or that's their thing, their full play. I don't know what was going on.
I mean, like even after he choked her, you see Rhaenyra step back, and it's like, damn, he ain't tell you. And it's like she was more shocked about the fact that Viserys didn't tell him about the prophecy than about getting her motherfucking ass hemmed up. Like I didn't get that scene.
Yeah, which is kind of weird though, right? Because then he criticizes the like the dream part. But as we were just talking about, Aegon the Conqueror, you know, like a lot of, you know, like that was the foundation of his conquering, you know, essentially, right?
Right.
For these dreams and these prophecies, or even them leaving,
even them leaving
Valyria, right? That was like
because of a dream.
So, you know, so for him to do that after he's such a student of that time period,
right,
and his ancestors is weird. But I think that he was ultimately pissed off because she had this intimate knowledge of information that was shared upon to her because she was the heir who was taken seriously as an heir, and he was never and he was never privy to that information, because nobody fucking takes him serious as an actual ruler.
And I think even if he like reads a lot, that's something that's passed down directly, so he wouldn't have known about it, no matter how much you read about it.
There was no way of him knowing that shit on that.
And
that's why I said, like, was his reaction coming from a place of, well, damn, my brother told you that shit because you the heir and I was the heir at one point in time, but he didn't tell me that shit, so like, fuck you type shit. Like it was just that shit was wild as fuck to me. I didn't like them putting that shit in there because it was one of those things like we didn't see that wasn't a moment from the book. And it was one thing that I was like, I don't understand the purposes served by putting that in there.
Let me get on this.
Go ahead, Salish.
Go ahead, CJ.
No, you go ahead.
Do you think?
Again, I think there's that undercurrent of number one. So Daemon is very controlled. We've seen him lose it a time or two, but I believe, even though he may not think ahead and think strategically, he's still very controlled. When you do see him lose it, there's still a modicum of control. When he sliced old boy's head off, he told him first, say it. And then when he said it, he did what he was going to do, and then he was done with it. So I think that was a moment of them revealing, almost kind of like where he loses control there for a moment, where his real emotions bubble to the top and he can't hide it.
Yes.
Because he's angry, he's grieving the loss of his child, the loss of his brother. And then now you just done revealed to me, my brother didn't even trust me to tell me this big, heavy secret. So I got to bow down.
See, that's the goddamn answer I was looking for. You put a nice little bow on that shit.
Right. There it is.
All that motherfucking shit.
There it is. I mean, essentially, look, I don't know what you know because I wasn't trusted as you were trusted with this information. And this is literally most valuable information in the world, essentially. Like, and you're the only one who knew. Like, if she dies before that moment, if Rhaenyra dies, the secret dies with her.
Yeah.
The motherfucker that's holding the dagger don't know what's on it, or what to do with it. I don't even know if they speak. I don't know if they know Valyrian.
Probably not, because Jace barely knows it, and he's been studying the shit.
He's been studying it for
I take that back because they know enough to train the dragon. So I don't know if they know enough for the dragons or if they actually know it. Because
I'm sure Jace actually knows, because I mean, like, he was studying. This was, I guess, like that was before this last time jump. So I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's right on time, and essentially what we saw was, that was jealousy, that was grief. He was in pain, and Daemon, being Daemon, he doesn't know how to handle his pain in a mature way. He might be more mature than he was before, but he's still like Valyrian always says, fucking and violence is his, those are the ways that he conveys.
And it's like Ophi said earlier, like his reaction is action. His reaction is always action.
Yeah, I still didn't think it was cool. I didn't like that shit at all.
I ain't like that shit.
I'm glad you circled back to that, because we definitely needed to touch on that. But since we are still on Daemon, I guess that was another poignant moment that we have not touched on yet.
Yeah, there was a couple different things. Like
when
even
this niggas walking through the caves,
man, and even like him, and even him fucking mentioning like the fact that we got more dragons. I just wanted to kind of go through the rundown of like the dragons.
There you go.
That Team Black is counting on their side versus Team Green. So like, first off, of course, you got Cyrax and Caraxes. You got the dragons of Daemon and Rhaenyra. You got Meleys. I like the fact that when he said Meleys, Auntie Niecy was kind of like, she
kind of looked off a little bit. Oh, y'all do.
Nigga, we got Meleys.
Who is this weak shit?
Are you speaking French now?
Right. So he's counting Meleys. Those are 3 of the largest adult dragons that they have, and then he goes on to count Vermax and Irax, the dragons of Lucerys and Jacaerys. Moon Dancer, that's the dragon of Baelor. And then he talks about Vermithor, which that's the dragon that we see him go to down in the cave. That was the dragon of the old King Jaehaerys, the Bronze Fury. And that's a big motherfucker. He's almost as big as Vhagar. And I think that's the significance of that scene. Not only him naming all of the dragons that are available for them to go and try to get some riders on and try to tame, because there's some wild dragons too. But like Vermithor is the second largest dragon in this time period. So like when we talking about even in the odds, not only do we have a larger number of dragons, we got a motherfucker up under this mountain that's damn near as big as fucking Vhagar. And I can go get his big ass too. So like to see Daemon go down and him, you know, singing that song in High Valyrian, which I don't know the actual song, CJ. I assume it's just something that he knew to kind of sing to soothe the beast in High Valyrian, you know, just knowing that he was going to have to go down there and create a bond with this dragon, because Jaehaerys' dragon hadn't had a rider literally since his passing. So he only had that one rider. So Daemon going down into that situation, he knew he was going to have to soothe that dragon or fucking die trying.
I think what's scary for me is like they're introducing new dragons, and we see what happens when a dragon don't really trust or like know their rider.
Right.
That's unpredictable. That's like I don't know what kind of war machine in a baby's hand.
I think that's a significant piece of foreshadowing that you are mentioning, though. I think that I mean, like that. I mean, like, obviously, we're gonna get to the end of the episode and talk more about controlling the dragon, or at least believing that you have a relationship with the dragon that allows the dragon to respect you enough to allow you to control it. Right. But I think that that's going to in a lot of ways be a difference maker in the way that this war is fought and won. You see this dragon emerge, and I'm assuming that this particular dragon that's being summoned is summoned for a reason, because that was a pretty big ass dragon. That was called for, and I wrote that. Yeah, I wrote that dragon's name down, but I can't remember.
It's Vermithor. You talking about? Yeah, that's Vermithor. So that's the dragon of Jaehaerys.
Okay. Oh shit. Okay.
That's the dragon of King Jaehaerys, and so he hadn't had a rider since the time of Jaehaerys. But that's a big motherfucker.
Okay, so Jaehaerys
Jaehaerys was king before Viserys was. That was the old king. He was king for 55 years. He was valiant. He knew how to use the sword. He rarely had to, though. His time was a time of peace. He had a few wars, but they only lasted days because that motherfucker went into war with Vermithor, ended that shit.
So Vermithor is battle tested, you know, and that was one of the significant things that needed to be pointed out, because that was what was one of the things that Rhaenyra said to Daemon, is like, our dragons on battle tested.
Right,
because that Viserys took them through a time of peace.
Vhagar is. Right.
Yeah,
Vhagar is.
And Vhagar
hungry.
And I mean, his dragon too. And she said that, and even her saying that though, Daemon's dragon is battle. He used.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
He used Caraxes in the Stepstones. Sea Smoke was in battle in the Stepstones. You know.
Right.
I think even Meleys at this point, because Meleys is an older dragon. I believe she had another rider before Rhaenys, and she had been in some scuffles before, I believe, if I'm not
Meleys is pretty big too.
I think Meleys was Alyssa's dragon, right? I think.
Yeah, Queen. Yeah.
That's Rhaenys'
Princess
dragon,
Alyssa.
right? Oh, before. So the essentially we see all of this shit taking place, and they're, you know, kind of getting the dragons together. They're talking about what's gonna happen next. Then suddenly these boys get sent off on these missions,
right?
You know, and it goes down. We're fast forwarding to Aemond and Luke in Baratheon's at Storm's End, and I think for a moment Baratheon sees that you ain't gonna be able to control Aemond. Like, this motherfucker's crazy. Like, you don't say it out loud, and obviously that might be something that he fears, and he might swear allegiance to him as a result of it. But he also, in that moment, doesn't seem to trust him, because he's like, this motherfucker won't even honor the rules of war. He ready to shed blood in my house.
He trying to kill a messenger.
Right. He trying to kill a messenger. So break down the significance of, like, I want Leslie and Carlton to kind of break down for us what that means. Like,
Leslie, I'll let you get on that one.
Yeah, well, like, just as far as that, like, just that interaction, so Aemond is high-headed, and we know that, right? But, you know, he's also kind of justified in a sense, at least in my opinion, to be like, as soon as Luke walks in the door, he's like, I can't believe is this nigga? Like he's looking at him like the audacity of this motherfucker to pull up, walk his ass in here after he clearly saw Vhagar parked outside and still asked for and still asked for the Baratheons' loyalty. But I think that encounter speaks to how I think the overall theme of this episode, which was played a lot, was how war hungry a lot of people are, including a lot of the advisors around the table that like Rhaenyra was at, like in Dragonstone, everybody was just like assuming war and ready for war and going to war, talking about this strategy and that strategy, while there was only 1 or 2 people in the room who was actually not courting war actively. And Aemond has been courting war for years now. This is what he's been preparing to do. Right. This is what this is his foundation, right? And so when he sees Luke, he jumps at the opportunity to like continue this ongoing beef, because that's what he wants, right? He even told fucking C. Cole's bitch ass when they were sparring that he doesn't care about tourneys. Right. He wants glory, right? And that's what he courts. And so in that moment, he jumps at the opportunity and he relishes in it. And I think that Boros has sort of, but you're right, CJ, and I caught that same thing. He sort of like looked at him a little bit slighted, like maybe this nigga is not exactly who I need to be aligning myself up with. But at the same time, though, he's coming from a position of strength because he has fucking Vhagar. Right. Nobody's gonna tell Aemond. You can't do me. You can't say shit to me. You can't say a fucking thing to me. And I honestly don't fucking blame him. If I had Vhagar, I'd walk around my dick out too.
Hey, look, man, look, big dragon energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, big dragon. Look, I think like, when we get to this scene, and again, when like even when Luke lands and initially he sees Vhagar 1, like I said, I'd have pieced the fuck out. I'm sorry, Mama. I didn't.
Hey, Vhagar was bigger than the castle.
We lost Storm.
Like we lost that one.
Yeah.
Right. So even for Luke to walk in, I think that kind of contradicts some things that have kind of already even been said on this show, that they're soft. Like that shows he had the wherewithal, he had the heart to walk into that situation knowing full well he knew who the fuck was in there. You know what I'm saying? So he knew, I ain't gonna say he knew what was finna go down, but he knew it probably wasn't gonna be present because of who was present. And for him to even walk into that situation, I think that says a lot of Luke. Now, he walks into this situation, you got Aemond already in there talking to one of the daughters of Baros Baratheon. Basically, he's already came with a marriage pact to betroth himself to one of his daughters, one of his 4 daughters, which there were, again, some slight tweaks from the book in this moment. So one of the daughters felt slighted. So when Aemond chose one of the sisters or whatever, there's 3 other ones, and one of them felt slighted. And she was basically like, nigga, you's a bitch. You let this little kid come in here demanding this, demanding that. He cut you out when he was a little baby. And now, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're on some hoe shit. You need to kill him. And that's really what drove Aemond in the book, that is, to go out and commit the atrocity that we saw in the show, which is killing Luke and the dragon. And they did it a little bit differently from the show's perspective, in that they kind of made it almost accidental. Like, I was just going out to fuck with the little nigga. And Vhagar was like, hey, the motherfucker blew fire on me and I wanted my lick back, so I ate their ass type shit. So that was a little bit different. Yeah. And then even in that moment, CJ, like you said, you touched on it too, where Baros is kind of looking at Aemond like, hey, bro, what the fuck? You in my roof, man. We just made this marriage pact. I'm just fucking with the little kid too, but like, you can't kill him. Like, don't kill him in my shit. Kill him outside. And to me, it was even weird that I guess not weird. I guess it was dishonorable to me that they even let Aemond go. Like, you knowing full well, okay, we're gonna escort Luke out. Let the little nigga fly the fuck off. Like, Aemond, you stay your bitch ass here. You know,
how you gonna stop Aemond though?
I mean, it's tough.
Touché.
I mean, like,
I think okay. So I think what Luke was doing going into Storm's End, that was him doing what we've talked about. So it doesn't contradict, right? I think it backs it up. Is that they know about duty, right? They know about their service. They know about what they're supposed to do. So he was going to see it through. I think, and I'm going to stay with the show and not the book. But I think, those boys grew up with each other, right? So yeah, you took my eye and I hate you on sight. Like I see you'll walk in the club. I'm like, oh, there go that nigga. I gotta something's gonna go down. Right. But I don't think, and I'm like I said, sticking with the show, Aemond never wanted to actually kill any of them. If we're going with the show.
I don't know, like what they got.
That's facts. That's big. That's big facts. And that's one of the things that I'm not gonna say necessarily I disagreed with. But it is a slight tweak from the book that I didn't thoroughly like. I wish they would have left it as Aemond went out there. He went out. I wish Aemond would have went out there on some murder shit like he really was in the book.
You know what? Go
kill him.
And so what's interesting is that I was watching the after show. And it still seems like it's going to come across as if Aemond is going to take full credit for killing him, meaning that he's going to go tell the Greens that, I got that, I killed that nigga, I got his ass. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's going to be interesting because again, this speaks to Aemond's courting of glory and war, right? And so he's going to be like, I'm the first one who took a major chess piece off the board,
right?
So I thought that's an interesting little twist too, because you're right. In the books, it made it seem like he just
went out there on some murder shit,
and just straight murder shit. Because he wasn't going to go after him. But you're right. One of like Boris's other daughters really just egged that nigga on, essentially.
Exactly.
She
basically like, nigga, I ain't shit. You should. I ain't want you to. I wouldn't have married your bitch ass anyway. You should let that little kid come in and beat you out. That's what you in the book.
I see you being a pussy. That's the thing. Somebody said, Ray LT from YouTube says that I genuinely don't think that Daemon wanted to kill. That Aemond wanted to kill Luke.
In the show, no, I don't think so either. For the purposes of show only, no, I don't think so either. I don't think he genuinely meant to do that. I think he was really just on some I'm intimidating you, I'm fucking with you shit.
But that's the thing about but that's the thing about Aemond. At least the TV show version of Aemond is the motherfucker plays too much. That's how he lost his eye in the first motherfucking place. He lost his eye fucking with people. And so now he's taking somebody's life as a result of him fucking with people and losing control of the situation because he didn't have control of the situation in the first place. Yeah, somebody earlier called that motherfucker blue eye white. He a White Walker, but he half a White Walker.
Well, he lost his eye because he was fucking ambitious. I mean, like let's keep it 100. He was getting bullied before he started doing the bullying. It ain't like this shit just. It ain't like he just gathered this mean streak. It's one of them things, Leslie. They bullied the wrong motherfucker. Exactly.
They bullied the wrong motherfucker.
That bullied by Aegon.
That nigga main bully was his brother. It wasn't the nigga that was smaller than him.
Like he don't like him.
He don't like Aegon either. He doesn't like
Aegon, but he's loyal to his cause. And even more so than the cause, he's loyal to his mother.
Right.
So,
but the niggas that was smaller than him was laughing at the shit. But
Valerian, you're talking about the book being different. Like I've been listening to you guys, and you guys said the book is secondhand, like accounts.
Yeah,
it'll make sense if he lied. He's like, I did it on purpose because it's like it kind of shows like what happened versus like what was told.
That makes sense.
That happened.
Right.
All right. So now that we kind of talked about that shit,
they can't get no like windshields for them when it's raining.
You know what I'm saying?
That store would have stopped me from flying anyway. I was like,
this nigga riding all through thunder and lightning. Goddamn it! Like,
also, you ain't go see Baylor in them.
That was that.
At all. Hey, not with them fucking lace fronts.
I mean, he could have said it like or something.
Baylor ain't getting that shit wet.
Forrest Gump call that shit.
Them the goddamn Tyler Perry wigs. I think they can hold up. I don't know. They got their wind tested.
That was that big fat. That was that big fat stinking ride. The big fat
all weather,
nigga.
Even on dragon back, nigga.
So let's take it to the air, man. I mean, like we already in the motherfucking air with the storm and shit now. Literally, take me through y'all's perspectives
Okay, so my perspective
of the storm.
So
go ahead.
Just real quick before y'all start talking about cinematography and shit. How in the fuck did that big ass 747 sneak up on that motherfucker? Like,
flew right behind
like,
battle tested. Battle tested.
Vhagar is like a fucking stealth.
Silent.
Hey, one of my favorite parts was when she flew right behind that nigga, and you see the difference in the size of Vhagar versus Arrax. Did that. And it's like, nigga, Vhagar was like 10 of that little dragon. Like she literally, she ate the nigga whole, man.
Had no chance.
Well, I was hoping he would have stayed in the mountains because Vhagar couldn't go down there. Why he come up?
So big,
man.
Like he had no reason to come up. He should have just stayed in the little cracks.
Why the fuck Arrax had to get a strike off Vhagar? Like, bitch, what's happening? And Vhagar
what I was trying to figure out, I was trying to figure out is like, so is it because Vhagar has been in King's Landing and Arrax has been in Dragonstone? Like they don't know each other. Like
Vhagar just don't care.
Well, I think kind of in the scope of things. So when we talk about these dragons, they are bonded to the rider. So like supposedly they feel what they feel. They they share feelings, thoughts, all this shit, whatever. The magic of the dragon riders and their bond.
Avatar.
Right, on my mama, without the little braid hookup,
without the USB port.
So when you talk about like the dragons of Jacaerys and Lucerys, they had dragon eggs placed in their cradles, when they were born, and they talk about that there's a deeper bond with the dragons when this happens. So like even when Luke is leaving Storm's End, like Luke is running from that bitch. And Arrax is literally running towards him. So, like, you can kind of see some of that fear coming from both sides. You can kind of see the fear from his dragon. I would just say you probably had that fear from Arrax, knowing that Vhagar is a threat. And Arrax blowing that fire at Vhagar was just his way of trying to protect his rider.
Man, he took a look. He took a swing and a miss.
I don't know. Like, I mean, because I don't know if dragons know that dragons don't die from fire, but I would imagine... At that point, I was assuming that the motherfucker was like, I'm fixing to burn this little motherfucker on top of
Vhagar clenched her teeth like a black mother in church and said, I'm finna beat your little ass.
And look, but Jamila Cooper says Vhagar wasn't feeling being took out in the rain just to play chicken with Luke. He was like, let's quit playing and end this. And that's the thing. Like you can't play with fucking dragons. At the end of the day, you might think you have control of the situation.
Right.
But,
and neither one of the dragons were listening to their rider.
Neither one of them.
Right.
But only one of the riders wanted to play that game.
Yeah.
The other one did not want him. If he would have let Luke go, Luke would have been gone.
Yeah.
His dragon would have never blew fire at Vhagar in the first place.
Yeah.
But like at that point,
Vhagar is big as fuck.
Right.
Vhagar is huge. Vhagar is fucking colossal.
Right. When you see the motherfucker fly over him, like it's like, God damn,
Right.
And then,
she engulfs everything. Like even with her, when she flies over like that canyon that Arrax flew into, like her wings are just wide span the whole fucking shit, dude. Like she is fucking enormous. Like it makes me, I'm excited to see, because like I said, she is larger than Vermithor, but I'm still excited to see Vermithor in all of his size and his glory.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was doing. It looked like that motherfucker was pretty big,
That's a big motherfucker. And that nigga turned that fire on when Daemon was down there, he just cut that shit off and just let it go.
Hell yeah. Like that, when that motherfucker turned his fire on, he was like, announce yourself.
So do y'all think Daemon, like, Daemon had already been kind of planning this out in his head? Because he also listed like, we got all these eggs in the incubator, and like he was like, yo, we finna just build we
got all this shit. We got more adult dragons than them, and we got one that's almost big as the biggest one that they got. What y'all trying to do?
Right. Which is probably something that he's been lining up ever since that little motherfucker got that dragon. We got to make sure we got us a big ass dragon.
I think that too.
You need a BAD. You need a big ass dragon.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that shit speaks too, though, like just Daemon's strength. I don't know, as a Targaryen, as a warrior, as a dragon rider, all three. Like for him, again, we see this bond that he has with Caraxes. Daemon don't have to say shit. When Daemon is opposing his enemies, Caraxes is like, nigga, we got smoke, what's
Where
happening?
they at?
And like then for him to go down there and to the dragon who hasn't had but one fucking rider, and that rider he had for 50 years plus, ain't had a rider since then. This is the second largest dragon in this universe at this point in time. And like you can see the little shit in the dragon's eye, like Daemon bonded with that nigga. So like, what are we gonna see moving forward? Do we see Daemon commanding both of these dragons, you know, at one time? Is he gonna fly one and have the other go into battle with him? Like, I think that's a dope concept all in itself.
Marcus Moore said before Luke flew out, he gave Arax the Black Parent speech. Obey what I say, listen to me, or I will fuck you up. Hey, look, don't ask for shit, don't touch shit. Hey, look,
Luke was like, hey man, this ain't the time, dog. This ain't the time. We got, hey man, we got to go.
That nigga look back over Storm's End, trying to, man, damn, Vhagar ass ain't over there no more.
Luke was
how the fuck did Aemond get to Vhagar
first
before Luke got to Arax?
Like some of that shit didn't make sense to me.
He used that magic crystal in his eye to teleport.
I just think when it's a bigger dragon, that motherfucker flies faster, y'all.
Like, no. We're talking about like physically how
Aemond got there. He looked over there and you don't see that big motherfucker no more.
Oh yeah, that big motherfucker was gone.
Shit, look, if I wouldn't have left,
yeah.
Like, oh,
no, for real. Aemond really is the definition on site, though, man. They don't care where he at. He gonna rage off on Luke. Like, don't care where they at, what they.
Facts. Luke brought that shit on himself though, because not only did he cut the nigga's eye out, he laughed again
with the pig.
That nigga was 3 years old, y'all. God damn. Like that motherfucker.
And then they brought out the pig and the fucking final dinner brand. Like, oh, that shit.
That's what I'm
they tell them not to put no pigs in front of him.
Luke is the youngest out of all of the kids, y'all. Well, the youngest out of all the kids whose names we actually know, other than other than the two little motherfuckers that she brought to the Sarah's bed that other day. But like,
remember she got one more little strong baby, little Joffrey.
Yeah, right.
Joffrey, but like another Lord Strong.
And they got second.
So Joffrey, okay, Joffrey too. I forgot about that little motherfucker, but now he irrelevant. We know that Luke and Jace are the two motherfuckers that we actually know. We see them enough to know they were significant.
Right.
And he was a baby when that shit happened with Aemond. You know what I mean? Like he said Aemond. Aemond was like 7 or 8 years old, so Luke had to be about 3 or 4 years old when that shit happened. Yeah. And so Aemond's still out for blood with that shit. And I know he the one that cut him, but he saw his brother get
damn, nigga, that's a big butt.
He saw it.
I know you cut your eye out, but
hey, I'm 3 or 4. I saw you fucking with my brother. You was fucking with my cousins, and you stole motherfuckers dragons and shit. So yeah, I cut your motherfucking eye. But he was 3 or 4 years old. So I'm gonna let him. I'm gonna cut him some slack. I thought he was a sweet little kid. I hate to see him go out like he went out. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm glad it was quick, goddamn, because
it was terrifying though. It was terrifying the whole time. I was scared for the motherfucker.
Yeah.
What?
Even knowing full well what was coming, my heart was like, I was still sitting there like, nigga, swerve, bitch, turn. Arax, no, bitch. Nigga, I'm sitting there trying to command Arax, Doharis, nigga, Doharis.
Right. Well, I guess, and that's what we said, like, with the book and the show, in the book, it's actually more of a fight. Like they're actually fighting in a way, right?
Yeah, that shit was still a fucking massacre.
Yeah, no. It wasn't. It was a fight, but it wasn't a long fight. But
that shit was a murder.
It was, yeah.
He murdered that nigga.
So even then, I'm like, all right. So he running. Maybe something will happen. But man, you looked up, he chomp, and it was 2 little pieces of wings floating in there.
Bye.
Man,
no more drag.
Nigga like the lemon pepper special, fried hard. God damn it! Like, you know what I mean? All drums for me. I know some of y'all motherfuckers like flats, but fuck that. He ate that motherfucker like some drums.
We know that. Hey, Hey, Vagar ate Arax and them like you ate that fucking plate, nigga.
Hey, that was some wings that night. Goddamn it!
Man, I was about to say that shit. You fucking beat me.
I
beat you by 2 seconds, nigga.
You beat me. You fucking beat me.
Like for the last couple of episodes since they did the time jump and we got like the adult Rhaenyra, right? I haven't asked.
What Josh? That nigga that froze like a white walker.
That nigga Wi-Fi.
Shit.
That
motherfucker. They done sent that motherfucker to the north. Well, we'll wait for Josh to give it. We'll wait for Josh to get back, but
the same look on his face. Nigga, that nigga's in deep thought.
What happened to TK?
Hey, he had to go night, man. TK had to work tomorrow. He was like, shit, this the finale, but goddamn. And speaking of y'all, we are not done watching them Thrones, by the way. I need to let y'all know that now for y'all that still tune in. Next week, we're going to have episode 11 as a wrap-up for this season of Game of Thrones. So the party is going to continue. We're going to keep having talks about that. And then after that, we're going to do something real special with y'all. And we're going to do a rewatch them Thrones.
Oh, nice.
So we're going back to the Game of Thrones. We're going back to the OG show. And the party is going to continue. The crew is going to be here. So I wanted to get that in while y'all still tapped in and tuned in with us. But since we let y'all know that and let y'all know, like, we still going to be doing our thing on Sundays, still going to be doing our thing on every channel, on every podcast station. We still want y'all tapped in and saying what y'all got to say about it. But we wanted to let y'all know that in advance before we wrapped up tonight's show.
Make sure y'all watch that shit with us, man. If you've already watched it, if you've already watched Game of Thrones, watch that shit again with us, man. We're gonna be dropping the same type of perspectives and shit. We'll do that shit fucking together as if we ain't never fucking seen it. I try not to get too far ahead of myself, you know, when we going episode by episode. But man, I think that'll be real dope to do. I think that's
I'll tell y'all what.
I was gonna ask if you guys are doing one episode at a time or just watching.
Yeah, like we're still working out the kinks on.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna do that shit because there's a lot of goddamn shows.
Yeah, because a lot of we'll do a season at a time or just special episodes that y'all want us to like that we all want to rewatch. As far as like highlight episodes.
Yeah. Because I know my talking ass, I beat and rap season 1 through 8 in one fucking recap.
Listen, shit.
Go ahead, Liz. Go ahead, Liz.
Like what I was about to say, that if anybody talks shit about Tyrion in the fucking comments, I'm blocking y'all.
It's on site.
I have unilateral authority to block y'all. You ever talk shit about Tyrion in the fucking comments, okay?
They can't say shit about Tyrion, man.
Say shit about it. You talk fucking anything negative about Tyrion Lannister, I don't give a fuck. No short jokes.
It's gonna be smoke in this motherfucker. It's gonna be some smoke in the city.
I'm taking that same fucking stand about Daenerys. Goddamn it! Fuck.
Hey, look. I feel you, man. Arya Stark, Dany, and Jon Snow.
No, you can talk about Jon Snow too much.
I love them. Was my favorite characters on the show, man. Before I knew how important they were.
I supported any and all war crimes committed by Daenerys. And speaking of which, I support any and all future war crimes that shall be committed by Rhaenyra on behalf of her dead child. Fuck children. Fuck them greens. Fuck them green nigga. Fuck them greens. And I don't need the college guy.
Let me get this in before my Wi-Fi die again. So, so what I was saying was, I missed the like fiery dragon Rhaenyra, right? And so I feel like life and time and everything happening kind of dulled her a little bit. But man, that turnaround after she
hey, I'm gonna tell you like this here, man. I'm gonna tell you
that dragon is back.
The fucking director said take 5, and Emma D'Arcy heard change lives. Cause that motherfucker turned around, nigga. With the fire, that fucking dragon in her eyes, nigga.
Yeah.
I kicked some more shit over when she turned around.
So I'm glad
I was like fucking Lil Wayne.
I'm glad y'all stayed there because that's where we were going next, man. I want to talk about bringing the show full circle. At the beginning of this episode, Rhaenyra loses a child. At the end of this episode, Rhaenyra loses a child.
Yeah.
Right?
Man.
And so she has suffered so much just in the last few days. But
stranger was busy.
in the last few years, and so now in this moment, she turns around and you can see the vengeance in her motherfucking eyes. You can you can feel it. And like we about to see Rhaenyra on a level, like, because before there was difference with Rhaenyra. Like the grown Rhaenyra that we've seen has been deferential. She's been thoughtful. She's been methodical in her approach. But now this motherfucker looks like Daenerys Targaryen when she's at King's Landing after Missandei hit that motherfucking ground. That's what she looked like to me.
I support all war crimes.
It looked like she was about to just say, you know what, Daemon, open the gates.
Burn it down. Burn it the fuck down.
Let's go get them.
Yep. They said she had 6 births. That they had been through 5 births already, and that was going to be
the 6. Yeah, that was the 6 that she was on.
Right.
But you know what though? I want to know Otto's reaction. Like I can't wait to see that shit when he hears about what the fuck Aemond did.
Yeah,
because he went over there like, whew, man, I survived another goddamn trip to Dragonstone. I think
right.
I don't know. We about to find out. And then he find out what fuck Aemond did. He's like, you did what, nigga? You did what?
I feel like the way Otto been going, man, Otto gonna be like, you know what? All right, cool, let's go. Next plan, like next thing. Like, all right, cool.
So
I don't know if he courts war though. I think he courts. I think he wants to kill the people that he needs to kill, but he doesn't. I don't know he necessarily courts because that's because that's out of that. Like, he's not as chaotic as a Littlefinger. You know, we compare him.
And that's a threat to the power.
War is
a threat to his power and position.
Before we wrap up,
but he takes the realities that are presented to him. I think he's really good at that. Like saying, all right, this is the new reality. What's the next plan?
Before we wrap up,
without war? How do you kill without war? That's dumb.
You can. I mean, well,
how do you have war without killing?
Shit, you can go and kill shit. Hell, like Rhaenys could have killed without war. She would have burned.
No, I'm saying like how do like unless they're all in one place and he kills them. But if you kill one,
but that's what I'm saying. That's what he ultimately wants to do. He just wants to kill Rhaenyra, kill Daemon, and kill the other
the kids,
the children. And
so he just wants to murder a few people, not all.
Yeah, he want to murder. He doesn't want the chaos.
Isn't that what
a little bit of genocide?
Just listen.
Isn't that what Tywin Lannister said though, Leslie?
That's right, goddamn right, nigga. Shit, like kill. Like, what would you rather do? Kill a few people at the dinner table, or
10,000 at war?
Right, exactly. Or 10,000.
Why is that any less noble?
But Luke would have to die because he'd be a claimant.
Yeah,
exactly. That's fine. Kill that nigga. And look, I don't blame Otto for doing that.
They clipping all loose ends.
Tywin, that's another nigga who I kind of like sometimes too. Because Tywin Lannister is right about that. When he was writing those notes, and we was over there behind his desk writing those notes to set up the Red Wedding, that's what his ultimate plan was, to end this fucking war. What would you rather do? Kill a few people at the dinner table or kill 10,000 in the battlefield?
Otto wishes.
He is no Tywin Lannister. He is no Tywin Lannister.
He
goddamn right.
Fucking Tywin.
You goddamn right. That motherfucker.
Let me ask y'all this. Let me ask y'all this before we kind of wrap up. I want to ask, and I'm passing this question to around the horn. I'm gonna start with you, Josh, and then pass it over to Ofifi.
That's probably best. My wife.
So did you all expect more bloodshed this episode, or did you just expect for it to be a setup in the way that it was?
I expected it was going to have to be a setup, only because you think about the last episode, right? It was just squarely on the greens. So now we got to go and get the blacks, setting up things, them figuring things out, because they still have to learn about Viserys dying, everything happening. Right. So I figured this was going to be more of a setup, because I think what's to come is they need space. They need time and space. So I figured this was going to be more of a setup. Like I'm kind of glad, because I think a lot of shows these days try to have big old, penultimate episodes or big ultimate final episodes every single season. I actually like the fact that this is how it is, because it does really set it up for that second season. So it was a little slow, but I expected it, only because they spent so much time with the Greens the last episode.
Mm-hmm. And okay, Ofifi.
Yeah, I second that. I thought it was going to be a lot more happening, but I'm glad it wasn't, because all I care about is seasons. I want more seasons. And so I feel like if they rush it, then they do too much.
They cut the content.
Yeah. So I'm glad I'm just mad that it's gonna be like another year.
Fucking 2 years. It's gonna be like
2
2024.
before we see something. Yeah, I'm glad.
That's lengthy.
It'll be like the summer of 2024.
Celestial.
That's crazy.
Well, as you can see from my name tonight, I feel away. Y'all done took us through 50 time jumps. We have seen 3 versions of one character, and then you give us this whole slow season finale. Like, I felt away. I wanted more action. I wanted to see more fighting, more dragons, but I'll take what they gave us. And I do that last final look from Rhaenyra. Let me know it's gonna be on and popping.
Damn, it's on and popping.
Right.
Hey, so what about you, Leslie? What did you expect?
No, that's shit. That's exactly what I expected. I expected to end at that, especially how the pace was happening. I will say this though. I encourage people, I think, to read or listen to the book.
Yes.
Because it will provide some sense of release. I mean, like of relief when we want to get our thrones fixed, but also they're veering off a lot from the books, or there's a lot of like, because the books is like secondhand knowledge, like like we've been saying about how it's written, and so a lot of that shit ain't even true. But it does give a general context about what happened. And also, just like what Valerian was saying, was that this, even though we knew it was coming, man, that shit was still jarring. Like the fight was still jarring. It was intense. You were wondering when it was going to happen, and when it did, it kind of shocked me and surprised me about how it happened in the context of it. So I just encourage people to read the books. I think that we can even maybe, if we want to do a sort of a maybe even a podcast, like, nerd out on the book, because I plan on rereading it and probably rereading it again. Like to really kind of like clear up like some of my holes that I have about just like memory stuff. But yeah, man, like that's what I expected to happen. So like I appreciate the patience of this season. This was this was fucking longest like preamble. I mean,
Right.
Right. in TV show history, and they have that audacity to do that, and I can appreciate that. They had,
and it worked.
And it
fucking worked.
And it worked. You're right. It worked.
Carlton, tell me about your expectations tonight.
I just like Leslie. Here's a lot of what I expected. I knew that the Storm's End would be. I figured that would be the end cap. I think I kind of expected to get to see a little bit more reaction to that before the ending of the episode, other than just ending on Rhaenyra. I would have liked to seen some conversation from that, whether it was between Rhaenyra and Daemon. I know we didn't get anything from the Greens other than seeing Aemond this episode because of the scope of last episode and this one. But I will say this: historically, Game of Thrones episode 10s aren't that
big
climactic. Usually it's not. Usually with Game of Thrones, is episode 9 is the big one. So I didn't expect to see too much in this one from that standpoint alone, just knowing that they usually don't do a lot in the episode 10s other than set up, that next season and then kind of follow up what happened in the episode 9. So like I said, I kind of figured that they would end with the end cap of Storm's End and Luke dying that way. So I mean, how in the fuck else you end the episode? I mean, you can't start with that. And then to go further beyond that is going to take too much time and to get to all the reactions and the things that come from that. So I kind of figured this is what we would be seeing to end it out. I like Celestia though. I do kind of feel like, man, y'all could have get like, I think we had, what was it, episode 7 or 8 was 67 minutes or 69 minutes, and this one was like 56 minutes. So like I said, I do feel like they could have given us more content in this one. And like I said, the biggest thing that I felt was missing, I would like to have seen some reaction conversation directly to Luke being murdered.
Yeah. I didn't expect a lot of bloodshed this particular season. I expected it to build up and for the story to be told, for the framework to begin being built to how this shit all started. Because like Leslie said, for a lot of us who have not been book readers, we needed to understand this part. in order to get to, okay, this is how the smoke fucking started. From Jacaerys all the way to Lucerys. Lucerys is dead. And now that we understand that, now that us, those of us who have not read the book have become aware, we understand just how visceral this situation is. Like, it's deeper. It's about the throne, but it's deeper than that now, because
it's generational. It's literally generational.
Exactly. It's like literally my babies have died because of this war already. And so that brings me to what we should be anticipating next season, or whenever the fuck it come back in 2024, y'all?
2024 summer.
Yeah, damn.
They haven't even started shooting for this shit yet. They won't start shooting until the spring of 23.
Shoot, I mean, so we can talk about expectations really quickly. Not really quickly, but we can talk about what we expect moving forward. Even though we literally are all blind, even they are blind to what that's gonna entail. But Ophie Feet, I'm gonna start with you.
Like, what my expectation for the next season? I don't even have some. I know I watched Game of Thrones. I've learned don't have some, because you're gonna be disappointed. So like, I'm just here. I haven't read the book. I don't know what to expect. I just know that I kind of, like you guys were saying with Daenerys, I think whatever Rhaenyra do from here on out is justified, because she really tried to be peaceful.
We stand behind that shit, Ophie.
There you go, 100%.
I'm shout out to what Stephanie Lee said. Aemond seemed almost childlike in the end, like he was playing, but shit got real fast.
Facts,
and that's
facts.
That's big old facts. I mean, Aemond always played too motherfucking much.
He realized the power that, like, and again, this is another thing from the book. Vhagar was said to have like the hottest temper. Vhagar is a very hot tempered dragon. So again, you see that, like, Vhagar had to have her fucking lick back, bro. Like, she really needed that lick back. And it's like the memes you see where it say, like, you don't want me to get my fucking lick back because my lick gonna be like, you don't want Vhagar to get her fucking lick back.
Right. When you go low, we go to the bottom of the motherfucking ocean as Vhagar.
Vhagar said, hey, Arax came through with the fire and said, bitch. Vhagar said, I got your bitch.
Josh, tell me your expectations going into season 2, man. What you looking forward to?
We got 16 dragons left. We got 16 dragons left. I think by the time we end season 2, we're gonna get down to single digits. I think, because it's got to be war. There's war. I mean, there's going to be so many consequential fights happening. There's going to be some major. I think we have at least 3 major character deaths, 3 or 4 major character deaths, maybe 3. That might be too ambitious. 3 major character deaths next season. But it's definitely it's going to be war. Less political intrigue, more war.
Yeah, for sure. Celestial, talk to me, because that's it. You know what I mean? So tell me how it's gonna go down for you. You know what I mean?
I want to see how good Rhaenyra and Alicent are going to get. Like, that's what I'm looking forward to see. We've seen the Rhaenyra that has the slick mouth. We've seen the Rhaenyra who shows deference and is trying to play the game. Now we are about to see beast mode Rhaenyra. And that's what I'm ready for. So
yeah, for sure. Definitely ready for that. Hold on, let me get my shit back together. Let me organize this shit. But Larry, the light skinned dread, one of the maesters up in this thing. So
man, I'm looking forward, of course, like I said before, to that direct reaction to Luke's death, just to see. I just want to hear what motherfuckers got to say about this shit. Like, what are going to be the actual conversations that take place in accordance with this? Are we going to see that? Or are we going to jump right in with season 2 with action, based off of that? Like I said, last thing we see is Rhaenyra's face, and we know what's coming behind that. So are we going to jump in with some more politics, or are we coming in and getting right to the action of what happens in the aftermath of Luke getting murdered? I just, like I said, seeing Rhaenyra's face, the Black Queen is here. We are fully dancing. We've seen multiple deaths now within the Dance of the Dragons. Although it's called the Dance of the Dragons, in the book, the chapters are called the Dying of Dragons. So like Josh said, like we about to get some deaths. Like motherfuckers is about to die. I ain't gonna say who, but niggas is about to. Hell, I don't even fucking know who because these niggas is deviating. So motherfuckers is about to die though. Like it's about to get real. Shit is about to get real.
Hey, I'm finna ask Vega, the neighborhood dog, aka the takeaway king. You know what I mean? Talk to us about what your expectations are, brother.
Man, bro, like in dedication of our brother who had to log off, TK. I just want to see some motherfucking dragons. I want to see some motherfucking dragons, man.
Facts.
I think this season 1 was West Wing with dragons. I need season 2 to be nigga shit on dragons.
Facts.
That's what I want to see, right? Yeah. I want to see just people just like committing atrocities of the highest level on fucking dragons at this point in my fucking life. Because like, and I appreciate the political intrigue, and that's going to always be there. And that's what makes Game of Thrones so unique. Mm-hmm. And for a lot of us show watchers, so like, you know, so special. But man, the way that they did it, and Josh spoke on the cinematography, but the way they got the cinematography and CGI right, if they nail that shit each episode, when the dragons are actually battling in these big battles and wars, man, that shit is gonna be a fucking masterpiece. Yeah. And so they probably need to take fucking 2 years to do that shit. Because I mean, to get that right, bro, that takes time. They did a really good job with this episode, and that really does signify like what's gonna come as far as you know, like how they take care of the dragon battles.
Facts. I'm looking forward to Don Jesse said maybe Rhaenys is gonna come back to hop on Sea Smoke to avenge his quote unquote son. Air quotes. But I'm looking forward to that as well. I'm looking forward to the kind of people that we forgot about coming back this upcoming season and being ready for the smoke as well. I think that Rhaenys will reemerge as a player in this series in season 2. I'm looking forward to the conflict.
That in and of itself, not to interrupt you, CJ, but that shit alone is interesting because something like, again, going back to the book, some whole other shit happens with Rhaenys' dragon. So like I'm wondering like how in the fuck are they gonna spin this? Like, do we see Rhaenys come back and get that dragon? Is him even still being alive gonna have impact on somebody else trying to get this fucking dragon because he's still bonded to Rhaenys? Like, I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with that shit.
I think it's gonna have an impact on a lot of things. I think
it's got to.
If Rhaenys and Corlys are still around when the shit goes down, then I think it's gonna even have an impact on them. You know,
I hope they don't do that nigga like they did them characters on Game of Thrones that rode off in a fucking boat. We ain't see their ass no more.
And then see them no more.
We ain't never see them niggas again. Them niggas rode off on the boat and it was over with.
Judy going upstairs.
Like Judy, full house.
Going upstairs.
But I'm looking forward to that for sure. I'm looking forward to plenty of dragon battles. I'm looking forward to the recruiting process because I imagine they're still gonna have their part.
Yeah,
I hope we get to see.
We didn't even get to see Jace. We didn't even get to see Jace's recruitment trip.
And I don't think Jace ain't gonna know that his brother is dead until
he on a whole recruitment trip.
Until he get back.
No, man, them Ravens is fast out there. He gonna know.
They should have sent the motherfucking Raven this time. Then, goddamn it, they should have sent a Raven and Storms in if that's the case.
It was Jace's fucking idea to go do that shit on Dragon back in the first goddamn place.
Right. Right. Like, and one more thing though, I'm looking forward to seeing the people and how the people play a role in this because season 1 focused a lot on the lowborn people, right? Yeah. And I think that that's intentional, and they're going to play a role in the story overall. And so, you know, we should definitely pay attention to the little goddamn beggars and broke niggas and flea bottom.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the black girls motherfucking getting their dragons and fucking some shit up too.
Yeah.
Well, the other one who don't have a dragon.
Well,
they ain't offer her nothing.
You saw though when Daemon was mentioning all the dragons that didn't have riders, they cut to her. So they
she was like, how about me?
Please believe.
I think they intentionally cut to Rhaena when mentioning that, like to basically foreshadow, like Rhaenyra's about to get one of these dragons that Daemon is mentioning.
One thing about George R.R. Martin that I like is that motherfucker fuck with the underdog.
Yeah.
And so
yeah,
in this instance, I think she might be one of those, one of those characters that are that we can expect to rise up at some point and play a significant role in this fight. And so I'm excited about that shit, man. Look, it's been an incredible season of Watch Them Thrones with y'all. I mean, it's been amazing. We're so glad to have Josh and Ofi Feet join us tonight for the 10th episode, the 10th installment of Watch Them Thrones. We will be back next motherfucking week. I don't know if it's gonna be this. I'm assuming it's the same motherfucking time. We
talk about something, goddammit.
But we gonna be here next motherfucking week. So y'all need to be here next motherfucking week. Tell your mama and them they need to be here next motherfucking week. To Watch Them Thrones with us again, man. We want to thank y'all so much for making this journey thus far, an incredible one. With our team, like we literally plan daily how we're gonna execute and deliver on this shit. We hope that we gave you all something that you could be proud of. With Black with No Chaser, we created community with Watch Them Throne with this, and obviously we are making noise in a way that is real in a universe that is not always welcoming to us. Because, like we said, at this point in time, we are the number 22 podcast in TV and film on Spotify. Right? God damn it now, because of y'all. So listen, what I'm saying to y'all is run that motherfucker up tonight, because we coming for that number one spot. We want the number one spot. God damn it, we coming for that motherfucker like Daemon on Vega. No, like what's his name? Like Aemond on Vega. God damn it,
Aemond.
Aemond for a new eye. God damn it, we coming for that shit, and we want y'all to be a part of that journey as well. Look, we got a lot of things planned moving forward, and we want this journey to be one in which we grow with y'all as our tribe in this process, man. Amen. Listen, until next week, because we will be back next week, Lord willing. Pull up, but until then, think black, live black, unapologetically, and watch them motherfucking thrones. Because we'll be back. Peace.
How do I lead this motherfucker?
How do I lead this motherfucker, man? Oh shit, I can't end the motherfucking broadcast.